Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 9. Tomorrow is the mid-season premiere and I cannot wait for it. But we got one more new topic to talk about. Norman Reedus just had an interview with Entertainment Weekly talking about the Daryl and Alpha action that we're going to get this season, and he said there's going to be a lot of it. So we're going to go through this interview and break it down and talk about it. But before I do begin, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to subscribe for daily content, daily reviews, all that kind of stuff. But let's begin. So we know Daryl's going to have a big part in Season 9B with the Whispers. We know he's going to have a relationship with both Alpha and Lydia because we see him in the trailer talking to Lydia in the cell. And, you know, she kind of warns him about her mom, and Daryl is asking, like, you know, where is she? And we saw in other parts of the trailer where, you know, he goes up to the gates of Alexandria and talks to Alpha. And they are saying there's going to be a mutual respect between the two of them, which I find very interesting. This, in a way, sort of reminds me a little bit about the relationship between Negan and Rick because, well, Rick didn't really have any respect for Negan, but Negan, we know he had respect for Rick because of what Rick would do. You know, Rick was like the only person who Negan has ever run into that is actually fighting back and creating a group that's going to fight back with him. So Negan had respect for Rick. I could also see the same thing with, you know, Alpha having respect for Daryl because Daryl, even in the trailer, we have Lydia telling Daryl that he doesn't belong with his community, he belongs with the Whispers because Daryl would make a good Whisperer, and I think it's a little bit of foreshadowing later on in the season when Daryl is probably going to infiltrate the Whisperer camp. He's going to dress up as a Whisperer, but yeah, you know, they know Daryl would be suitable as a Whisperer, so I think the respect is already there for them. Now with the interview with Entertainment Weekly, they asked Norman, what can we expect to see in the second half of Season 9? We've seen the Whispers now on the scene. They've made their presence felt by taking down Jesus. What are we looking at coming up? And he responded by saying, you're going to get into the psychology of who they are, not just Alpha, but her daughter Lydia, and how the group is dealing with that. It's very complicated and it's very clear, the way that they sort of infiltrate everybody. The threat is a different kind of threat for us. As for Daryl, he doesn't want Carol mad at him. You don't want to get a spanking from Carol. He's there on a mission that she puts him on, and now he's kind of in the middle of all of this chaos and trying to figure it out. Now that part I find interesting because I didn't know anything about this. Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but I think this is relating to maybe Carol and Daryl obviously close. Carol could be the one talking Daryl into being a leader because we did get the sneak peek a while back of Michonne talking to Daryl and saying that you need to lead this place because, you know, Jesus is gone, Maggie is gone, Rick is gone, and Michonne obviously needs to go back to, you know, Alexandria, and Carol needs to go back to the kingdom. So that just leaves Daryl there, and in the sneak peek he was kind of reluctant, saying that no, why does it have to be me? I don't want to be a leader. So I think after that scene, maybe Carol's gonna talk to him, and, you know, obviously he loves Carol, and, you know, he even said here he doesn't want Carol mad at him, so obviously he's gonna take that leadership role. Now this next part I find interesting because they bring back Daryl looking for Rick's body, which I really like. So they said, yeah, where's Daryl's head at? Because he tried to isolate himself, yet he's been drawn back to the Hilltop with Henry being there, and now this new threat. And Norman said he sort of exiled himself after the horrible thing that happened with Rick. He's been out in the woods looking for a body. He won't give up. That's just who he is. He was like that with Sophia. When she was lost, he was just the type of guy that he needs proof. He needs some sort of closure. He needs to figure it out. He's been put on the mission, like you said, to bring Henry to the Hilltop. When he gets there, all hell's breaking loose. There's a knock at the door. We're kind of called out, and no one's really stepping up there. I was like, screw it, I'll go do it. He ends up in a situation where he kind of has to man up. Okay, a couple things here. First, yeah, this makes a little bit more sense than him just saying, yeah, I'll be a leader, because nobody else would step up. In the trailer, we saw the group, you know, perched up over the walls, and they were looking at, I'm assuming, Alpha and the Whisperers, and everybody was just standing there. So when he says that nobody is stepping up, you know, Daryl's like, screw it, I'll go do it. That makes sense because they were all standing there looking at Alpha, and maybe nobody wanted to go, and then Daryl's like, all right, I'll go. And then we also had that promo image of the people at the Hilltop. They're all like standing next to the door looking down at, again, what I'm assuming is Alpha and Daryl talking. So it looks like everybody's like super scared of Alpha. I mean, honestly, that would be scary if, like, because to them it's just like a walker basically walking up to the gates and talking to them. Like, that's pretty terrifying if you think about it. So it looks like everybody is scared except Daryl. And obviously Daryl isn't going to show any fear or anything, even though if he is scared. But, you know, they said there's going to be like mutual respect, so maybe he gets what they're doing. And everybody else is just like kind of terrified. You know, especially the little kids, because there are a lot of kids at the Hilltop and Alexandria and all that kind of places. You know, over the course of 6 years, there's a lot more kids now. So I think it'll be pretty cool if they add a scene or something where a kid is crying or the kids are visibly scared and terrified of Alpha. I think that'll be really, really cool. Hopefully they add that in. And back to the Rick thing, I like how he mentioned that again, that he's been looking for Rick, and he won't give up. So again, like, I feel like in the back of Daryl's head, he knows Rick is alive, or he feels like Rick is alive, because he didn't find a body. He's right. You know, same thing with Sophia. He never found a body, and he never admitted that she was dead. Even though everybody else did, you know, Daryl's like, you know, no, she's not dead. We're going to keep looking for her. So I like that. Same thing with Rick. Now, obviously, he's going to be busy with the whispers and he can't go looking for Rick, but I still like how in the back of his head he probably thinks Rick is alive, and when it's revealed that he's alive, you know, I don't think he's gonna be that shocked. It's gonna be pretty cool though. I mean, he's gonna be shocked, but like, you know, he still, I feel like, knows a little bit that maybe Rick is alive out there. Norman also says something very interesting here that I want to read. He said, and I'm quoting, because they asked him if he's being forced back into not only being part of the community but once again being a protector, and then he said here, I mean, there are certain moments in the next 2 episodes where Daryl didn't get in someone's face. He kind of took a step back and he's watching. He's waiting for a little crack to happen in that dam to get in there and open it up and let those waters out. He's very clever in the way that he's going to play both sides in a way. He's going to try and get into the psychology of that mindset of what it takes to live in a life in a dead man's face and walk among the dead. He's trying to figure out a way to keep the people safe, but also trying to crack the egg and figure out what's happening. You know, it's very complicated and there's a lot of moving parts. If that's not confirmation, I don't know what is. He said he's going to try to figure out what it takes to live alive in a dead man's face and walk among the dead. And, you know, to try to get and know how that is, there's no better way than try to figure it out than actually doing it. So, you know, I know there was a lot of talk about whether Daryl or Negan could do it, because I could see both those characters dressing up as a whisperer. But Daryl makes the most sense. You know, out of anybody on The Walking Dead, Daryl, I mean, just like based on what we've seen in the trailers and stuff, everybody else looks pretty terrified except Daryl. Like, we see him stepping up and going after the whisperers, going to the gates. So Daryl makes the most sense here to do that. Norman also said, the performances in the back 8 episodes are just ridiculous. They're so good. We really sort of got this show to a point where it's so direct and it's so honest. The chaos is all there, but it's a different vibe right now, and it's a different sort of storytelling. It's very interesting. There are no dull moments. There's no grandiose gestures of importance coming from anybody. Everybody's in the hoof, so to speak. It's a brand new back 8, and it's super good. Super good. Alright, so yes, I know it's the actor's job to say that you know, the season is good. It's not like Norman's going to say, yeah, you know, it's alright. It's a decent season. He's not going to say that. Obviously, he's going to say it's super good. But still, all I got to say to this is that if the back 8 episodes are just as good or better than the first 8 episodes, season 9 might be in my top 2 or top 3 seasons. It's hard to beat season 5, but still, I mean, season 9 has been so good. And you know, for some people, I can definitely see season 9 being the best season, and it might even be for me. I have to see how the next 8 episodes go, but all I gotta say is that, man, season 9 has been so good. And to all the people that are like, oh my god, why is The Walking Dead getting renewed again? Oh my god, just cancel this show already. Like, if you watch the show, you would know that, yes, the last 2 seasons, yes, there were some, you know, slumps here and there, but this season has been amazing. There is no reason why they would cancel it when it's on a high note right now. And last question I want to talk about is one about Alpha. They asked them, I remember we spoke right around the time where it was announced that Samantha Morton had been cast as Alpha, and you were telling me how you couldn't wait to see what she did with the character. So what does she do with this character? And Norman said, there's a lot of Daryl and Alpha stuff coming up. They're coming from 2 different places. She's coming from a place of she's got to figure it out. She's figured out how to survive. The way that she's figured out how to survive is smart, but it's also so dark. Daryl sort of is put in the middle of this. He's trying to figure it out, but when push comes to shove, Daryl's like, let's go meet this girl. It gets to the point where there's a mutual respect between them in some weird way. I know you saw from the clips that were put out of the future scenes coming up where Lydia is saying to Daryl, you're not like these people. You live outside of these walls. You're a wild animal. You get it more than anyone. I think Alpha kind of sees that in Daryl, and Daryl sees that in Alpha. As the story progresses, you'll get to know that there is a mutual respect between these two characters. Alright, so that's really cool, and I think it'll be really awesome if we also see Alpha trying to recruit Daryl. I think that'd be really cool, and maybe even Daryl's put in this dilemma, you know, like maybe he's like, should I really go join them or not? And you know, he's obviously not gonna join them, but from this interview, I think, you know, with the respect, and he kind of has their trust, and he can kind of, you know, mess around with them. Like Daryl could even be like, you know, he could pretend that he is gonna join them and then just go to their base and just fuck up everybody. Like that'll be extreme. But what I'm trying to say is that now that, you know, they like Daryl in a way, they have respect for Daryl, I think Daryl's gonna go after them and use that to his advantage. Alright, this next part is actually hilarious. So Norman also says, a lot of the characters on our show would be affected by that sort of showmanship. Daryl's like, what the fuck do you want? The whole snaky fucking creepy face looking thing? I've seen it all at this point. What do you want? I'm just cutting to the fucking chase. You're not freaking me out. What the fuck do you want? I think that is the kind of breaking the ice with Alpha, where she ends up like, okay, this guy is the real deal. You can't intimidate him. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. If Daryl actually says that in the show, obviously he's not. There's no way in hell AMC is gonna allow that. But what I'm saying is that if they somehow allow that, or if like let's just imagine that would happen, how cool would that be if Daryl just goes up to the gates and just completely shuts down Alpha? In the part where he's like, Alpha's like, okay, this guy's the real deal, you can't intimidate him. That's also funny, because, you know, just imagine Alpha's reaction to Daryl just like completely, you know, shutting her down. That would be funny. But anyways, that is the interview with Entertainment Weekly talking about Daryl and Alpha's relationship coming up in season 9B. There was a lot of good information there, so I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Leave all your thoughts and opinions about season 9B and Alpha and Lydia and Daryl, all that kind of stuff in the comments down below. This season starts tomorrow. I cannot wait for it. I'll be doing reviews, predictions, breakdowns of the trailers, episodes, all that kind of stuff. So if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, hit that subscribe button for daily content, and I'll see you guys later.